Hello once again, Marc Yaxley here with the guitar and talking about various things that happen when we play both classical music and jazz, improvisation, and other styles. Want to thank Kevin Smith for having me here at the studio once again. Just want to clarify that I'm approaching these videos and assuming that the viewer has played the guitar for a few years and had maybe basic music theory or advanced. Some of the terminology that I use are pretty much concerning the physics of playing. Just for an example, if you hear me say it lies well, I'm not talking about telling a lie. I'm talking about that the fingers just feel good on the strings. It usually 4 frets to 5 frets, economy of motion kind of thing in the left hand. It just lies well on the fingerboard because you're not having to shift or stretch a lot. So if you hear me say this lies well, that's what I'm talking about. Other things would, if I say 2 words outside and inside, these 2 words can refer to playing outside the harmony or inside the harmony, more triadic, melodious sounds inside the harmony. Outside and inside could also mean playing the top 4 strings, or on the other side of the guitar, the bottom 4 strings, outside the inner 2 strings, D and G. Not focused on those so much. You're outside of the middle of the guitar here, D and the G string. Inside, of course, would be referring to playing the guitar without the 2 E strings. You're playing the inner 4 strings, A, D, G, and B. So inside and outside, you might hear me talk about that, and I'll explain it if need be. Again, what I thought we'd do today is I like to go back to the very beginning every day and start over with basic things and then build upon the basics. And maybe I could be talking to you guitar teachers in this segment, teaching jazz improvisation to kids, meaning under 16, or older folks too. This will work for any age. And what I'm going to do is basically talk about 6 notes in the beginning here. Open E, 1st fret, 1st finger on the E string is the note F natural. Then on the 3rd fret, E string is a G. So there's the first 3 notes, E, F, and G. I'm going to go to the B string now and play it open. That's B natural. 1st fret, 1st finger would be the note C. And again, with the 3rd finger down on the 3rd fret, on the B string, we have D natural. So here we have 6 notes. B natural, C natural, D natural, open E, F natural, and G. What I'm going to do now is play a very basic, easy to play and easy to hear melody. It almost sounds like a childlike tune. And I'm going to assume that you can hear this a couple times and play it. It's not very hard. And it sounds this way. I'm going to do it again. pretty easy to hear that. Maybe you could sing it back. Take a few seconds and just hear it in your head and sing it. So I think you get the point there, if you're with me so far. That's a basic little childlike melody, almost sounds like a nursery school song, kind of like a Mary Had a Little Lamb kind of thing. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. What I'm going to do now, though, is take those 6 notes and take that melody and talk about 3 chords. Their character is major 7, minor 7, and diminished. So as your students are learning their chords and they're learning how to read basic notes in the first position, we can also catapult them into jazz chords and harmonize this simple melody. As they physically are learning the chords from you as the teacher, that's a whole nother study when you practice chords, and we'll talk about that too. There's all sorts of ways to make chord practicing easier and having them lie well on the fingerboard. There's techniques for doing that, but right now, here's the melody. This is a major 7th chord. Diminished, minor 7, dominant 7, diminished, minor 7. So you see what's going on here? What we're doing is taking 6 simple notes, and at the same time we're exploring the harmonization of the notes with the character chords major 7, minor 7, diminished, and dominant 7. You can do this with any melody. That's what we do when we play any guitar music without singing. We're accompanying the melody. The melody normally takes place on the top 2 strings, the outside of the guitar, the top 3 strings. 2 or 3, and then the remaining 3 or 4 strings beneath the top strings are used to accompany that melody. So these are ways to teach young kids about jazz chords. Well, I'll just say chords. They're found in all music. As well as arranging a melody with a chord underneath the melody well, it's called chord melody. For obvious reasons. You've got both going on. The guitar is wonderful. It can do both. So that's a lot of fun to do. Here is Mary Had a Little Lamb. Here is a harmonization. Here's more development with more chordal things. You get my point here? We're learning chords with simple melodies to get the kids involved with jazz music and jazz arrangements. The chord voicings, the scales, the arpeggios, all of this can be brought back to a basic and move ahead. And I do this daily. We make things up sometimes. I'm basically talking to you guitar instructors and that are trying to involve young people with improvisational approach to the guitar. the technique is essential for everything, whether it be folk music or classical, flamenco, whatever style. The technique in your hands is essential. We need to have that. So I'm going to move ahead here a little bit and do a physical exercise that's not very much fun, but it will build hand muscle and arm all at once. It helps everything. And again, we're just going to go to the note F. And on the third string, on the third fret, we have a B flat. What I'm going to do is play the two notes together, F natural and B flat. And I'm then going to raise each note a half step by using the remaining fingers that aren't being used now. So what happens is the first finger is now going to have the second finger in front of it, which is F sharp, and the pinky finger is going to raise that B flat on the third string to B natural. So back and forth it would sound this way. I'm going to tune a little bit though. So here again, F natural and B flat, moving to F sharp and B natural. Back and forth would be this way. If you're with me there, I'll go ahead. The next move we do is just play A flat on the G string and a G natural on the E string. So what's happened is that we've traded to this position. From F natural and B flat, we've now gone to A flat and G natural on the same two strings. So here's the exercise. We now trade to the A flat and the G, and you can see what's going to happen. We're going to take the remaining fingers, the second finger and the pinky, and simply go up and half step that way. So we have this sound. Not very nice, but if I do them back to back, switch, and back. Switch. I'm using index and middle. You can also use your pick, and they call that hybrid picking if you want to. You can play with the pick and one of the other two fingers to make both strings activate. So what's going to happen here, we're going to spread this out, meaning the first time we do the F and the B flat, and we switch it to A flat and G. Now what we're going to do is go back to that F natural, but we're going to spread that third finger to the D string. So now we have more of a spread between the fingers. Same approach. I don't know if you can see this clearly, but if you can hear it, all we're doing is spreading this technique out over the strings. So you can see what's going to happen. We're going to go to the A string and switch, and finally both E strings. It's very difficult. And switch. So here again we have F and B flat in the very beginning and half step higher with both fingers, back and forth. Switch, and then we spread the third finger to the D string and do the same approach. We then spread it to the A string. Switch, and then finally the hard task of both E strings. You can feel this start to, if you start to hurt, just stop and rest. But what this is doing is, you're on the tip of the fingers, of course, to make that happen, but everything's connected in here, and you'll feel a physical growth, that you'll feel like you're getting very, very strong in your low end of the guitar, meaning the first position. It's very hard to play the guitar here because it's so far from your shoulder. So this is a wonderful exercise for building dexterity in the first position of the guitar with the bass strings, and a very, very difficult concoction of fingerings. Wonderful exercise. Do it daily. Be careful with it, because you'll feel it. If you've never done this, you'll feel that later on. You say, well, I've been doing something different. So be careful. You can do it in different positions. You know, as we know, the frets get smaller as we ascend, so playing in the mid-range and the high area of the instrument is easier physically. It lies well because the frets are smaller. So just do this exercise everywhere that you can. You can apply different right hand techniques. Here's tremolo. Stretch it to the D string and still continue tremolo technique. That kind of thing. What I'm going to do now is go back a few videos and just review you with the diatonic major scale of C. That third chord is E minor, C major, D minor 7. The third degree is E minor. What we're going to do is start on the third chord in an open string E minor. Continue to F major 7, G7, A minor 7, B diminished, C major. Now we're right back where we started. But what I wanted to do was include these four chords down here in the first position, so we can cover the whole fingerboard in the key of C with major, minor, and diminished chords, and half diminished in the C major scale. Here's the basic scale. We're harmonizing the scale with chords. Major, minor, minor, major, dominant 7th, minor 7th, diminished, and back to the 8th degree of the scale, which is the same as the first degree, C major 7. But what we're doing today is starting with the third degree of the scale with basically just a simple E minor chord. The next degree would be F major 7, G7. Following the order of the diatonic major scale. A minor 7, B diminished, and C major. I'm going to continue now. Now we're going to play a D minor 7, continue all the way up, E minor 7, F major 7, and G7, and finally a C. with this is play from the low end of the instrument to the high end and make it pretty. A lot of players avoid this part of the guitar. The highest area of the instrument, they avoid it sometimes. It's very expressive. So take the chords of the C major scale and slow it down and just make an exercise of this. Play it slow, and that builds endurance. And just hear every note. Would you record it? Is it beautiful and clean? We can take them out of order too. As you remember, we have the order of the chord, the order of the chord scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But we can take them out of order and play progressions. Very popular, 1, 6, 2, 5. So we improvise with the positions. 1, 6, 6, 2, 5, or 5, or 5. We improvise the 1, 6, 2, 5 and just let your hand wander, but think ahead. Where's the next position of the chord change? Wonderful way to warm up and exercise your hands to playing chordal music, and that, of course, they're found in all music. What I'm going to do now is talk about a chord change that may be a little abrupt. From E flat major 7 to G major 7. E flat major 7 to G major. Much of the time when you're practicing your jazz music, we have to solo through chord changes that are abrupt, and to try to make these lines glide through the changes so they sound smooth and the audience can hear that chord change. Pre-composition is very popular, and any jazz musician that tells you, in my opinion, if they're not pre-composing, I don't know if I believe that all the way. I'm constantly doing it and going over our instantaneous compositions and then altering them, and then writing another one and altering it. And we try to do this freely on the job when we play in front of people, true improvisation. But we need to have a lot of material that we can depend upon that gets us into the field of improv. So it can't hurt to pre-compose lines that go with chords that are not that common. E flat major to G, that's 3 flats into 1 sharp. Here's an example of making a line in E flat and resolving to G major 7. First the chords, here's the line. flat Mixolydian scale. The last note's B natural, which is in G major. So I'm going to take that north. I'm going to go up in here, play the same kind of line, but I'm going to do it in the key of F. Well, this change would be F major to G major. Here's the line into G major. You can hear the resolution. Take that north, do the same kind of play. I'm going to go into F minor, into G major. So this change would be F minor 7 to G major 7. Same kind of play. I'm going to take it up here and put it in A minor. What I did was end on the A natural, which is the ninth of a G chord. That's why that sounds so pretty. E flat, F into G, F minor into G. Here's G minor into G major. It works out nice. And it's the same kind of play. So that little subject is how to weave a line in a distant key from your destination key, which happens a lot in our studies when we arrange improvisational solos and pre-compose them. What we'll do is take a break here and check things out, see if everything's okay, and we'll come back and continue another subject. Thank you.